Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be continuing on with our UIKit tutorial series for iOS development. And in this particular tutorial we are going to be taking a look at UISlider. Now, what is a UISlider? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It is a control that allows you to drag it back and forth like you're sliding and adjusting a value. All right. So what the thing we're going to build today is pretty much is just a slider and a text field. Depending on where the slider is, like what the value is and all that stuff, the value in the text field will change to match, and depending on what the value is, the text in the text field will change its color. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's go into Xcode. And the first thing we need to do is to create our UISlider object. All right. So we'll say var, we'll just call it slider. Actually, we'll call it value slider equals UISlider. And we have a few options for an initializer. We can have a blank one. We can have one with a decoder, which the one that has a coder is typically used for storyboards. We can have one with a frame. We can have one with a frame and a primary action and stuff like that. We're just going to have an empty constructor or initializer. All right, so like that. Let's go ahead and configure our slider now. So we'll say value slider dot. We'll say minimum value is going to be 0. And the value slider dot maximum value is going to be 100.0. All right. Now, the minimum and maximum values are exactly what they sound like. The minimum value is what will be on the very far left of the slider, and then the maximum will be on the very end on the right side. All right. Now we want 0 to 100 because we're gonna split this into 25, and you'll see why. All right. And we'll say value slider dot. And we can get the value later, which we'll do. We have maximum value, minimum value. We can set the track tint color. So the track is the thing that the slider's knob goes along. So minimum, let's see, we can set the value. So let's say we had a button where we wanted to increase the slider for whatever reason when we tap a button. We can do that using set value and determine if it's animated and stuff like that. Okay, we can set we can set the slider's behavioral style, and there's a few options here. We have Mac. We have automatic. We have pad and stuff. You don't need to worry about that too much. Now, you can also you can set the current maximum track image, current minimum track image. You can set the current thumb image. You can determine whether or not the slider is continuous, stuff like that, right? Maximum track tint color, maximum value image, minimum value image. You can do so many different things here. You can also set the tint color for the thumb that you're going to work with to adjust the slider. We're gonna leave all that alone. Now we will also add a target. So let's go ahead and do that. Add target. The target is going to be self. Now the selector is going to be hashtag selector. I will say slider value has changed. And then we'll define what the event that we want to listen for is. In this case, just like our segmented control, it's going to be .value changed. So every time the value changes, we want to listen. We want to listen for, like, we pretty much want to listen for when the value changes, and then execute the objc method we're going to create here in a second, right? So here we can also say value slider dot step. Let's see. Is it increment? No, it's not. So, all right. Well, we can just leave it be. We don't need to. We could set how much we want it to step by, right? But we don't have to. So we'll get rid of that. Okay. And we'll say value slider dot translates auto mask into constraints equals false. And then we'll add our slider to the subview. View dot add subview. Or rather, we'll add our slider as a subview. I'm sorry. So now we have that. Let's go into our configure constraints. Here we'll say value slider dot center y anchor dot constraint is equal to the view's center y anchor then we will set the value slider dot leading anchor is going to be constrained to the trailing anchor of our text field. So equal to view dot, not view, it's going to be value field dot trailing anchor with a constant of 20. And then we're going to say value slider dot trailing anchor dot constraint equal to the view dot safe area layout guide dot trailing anchor with a constant of -20. All right. All right. Yep, that's good. Oh, wait a second. We don't want the trailing anchor. We want the leading anchor on the value field. That's why I wasn't able to see it earlier. So leading anchor. Leading like so. And all right, cool. Now that all that is squared away, we can save this, and we will now need our objc method to satisfy our target for our slider. So we'll say at objc slider. It should be, I believe it's slider value has changed. This is going to take in a slider. So UISlider, like so. So we'll say func slider value has changed. And then here we will then say our value field dot text is equal to or rather, what we should do first is run it through a number formatter. So or rather, I guess we'll say let formatter equals number formatter dot number style dot decimal formatter dot minimum fraction digits equals 0, and a formatter dot maximum fraction digits we'll say is equal to 1. Actually, no, let's say 2, just for the hell of it. All right. And so now we can say value field dot text is equal to formatter dot string from an NS number value, and this is going to be slider dot value, like so. All right. Now we can also determine the text color of our text field's content based on the slider's value. So here we can say if slider dot value is greater than or equal to 0, and the slider dot value is less than 25, we want the color to be red. So we'll say value field dot I believe it should be here, text color is going to be equal to a system red. Okay. Else if slider value is greater than or equal to 25 and slider dot value is less than 50, let's see. 30 there. Yeah, okay. So we just want 50 here, right? If that's true, so if the slider value is 25 to 49 pretty much, we want the value field text color to be equal to system orange. else if slider.value is greater than or equal to 50 and slider.value is less than 75, we will say value field text color equals dot system yellow, and then finally else, so if it's 75 or above, we will say value, or rather, value field dot text color equals system green. All right. So there we go. Now you could store the value for the current value for the slider in a variable, and I probably should have done that, but it's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead then and save that, run the code. All right, so here we are. Here we are inside of our app. You can see our slider here as well as our text field. So our text field is taking up a quarter of the screen, and then our slider is taking up the rest of it. So let's go ahead and let's adjust the value of this slider here. So you can see that the text in the text field is changing. Right. So here is our, so you can see how our text is changing. And as the number increases and decreases, the color of the text changes with it. Right. So that pretty much does it for this video on the UI slider. Thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.